Hi everyone, it's Cheryl here from ideasforcardmaking.net, and I'm here today with you for Couture Creations. I am going to make an easel card today. Hopefully this is going to be a pretty quick video. I'll show you an easel card that I've made already. Now this one I made for Father's Day. See if you can see that okay there. Alright, so it's a very simple card to make. It's just, I don't know if you can see that, it's just basically a flat card folded, but it has a bit more of the wow factor, and it will stand up for you flat. If I move things out of the way it will. So that's what that's done. This one was made as a Father's Day card. It could also be used as a birthday card, and that's using some of the products from the Sweeping Plains. Today though, I'm going to be using the Gift of Giving collection, and I'll just show you a few of the bits and pieces I've used. It's a bit upside down, but this is the Gift of Giving ephemera set, and out of this today I've used the poinsettias and also the little gift pack that I'm going to use. That's the little gift pack. You get a few of those, a few of each of them in here. I think that's all I've used. Oh no, I've also used this piece here, but I've actually done some fussy cutting with it, and that has become that piece there. And you'll see what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Now, one thing I will tell you, I'll just scoop them up. This is all the little bits and pieces I had left after I chopped this up. And I really hated cutting it up because it was so pretty before, but I needed it for this card. Okay, so these are all little leaves, and I would suggest that you keep those because you might be able to use them for something else. I don't know if you remember hang on, I'll just grab it, the little flip album I made. Well, I use leftover bits of leaves for that, so things like that, and you can slide them in underneath to give your projects a bit of texture. So if you're anything like me, don't throw anything away. Excuse me. And those leaves could come in handy, so I'd just put them aside. But that's what I took it from, out of the ephemera, this one here. Okay, also from the Gift of Giving, these are the pieces of pattern paper I used. You'll see in a minute what I've done with them. This one's going to go on the inside. I've cut mostly from here, from this part here I've cut for the base, and you'll see that in a minute. And then this, sorry, that was my lamp. This is the cutter parts, and I've used this particular one here. Now what I've done on it is, instead of cutting the straight lines down, I've actually cut around it, so some of the leaves, I'll just see if I can grab it, so some of the bits of leaves are sticking out. It's not a lot, but I've just pulled it in a little bit so that when it goes on here, there's still a bit sticking out. It looks like I've got that a little bit long, so I'll have to cut that in a minute. That's okay. We'll fix that up in a minute. Okay, so I've got all my bits and pieces here. I've done, this is the Peace on Earth, and I did that using this die that comes in, the mini die that comes in this Gift of Giving set as well. But what I've done here, I've done it already to save a bit of time. I've layered 3 pieces on there just to give it a bit of depth. Now what you can do, I just use glue in between. I actually thought of it too late, but I often use this, I don't know if you can see that very well. This is the double-sided tape, and this is from Couture Creations, and I just keep that on my desk all the time, and for some reason I forgot to use it. But you can use that as well as using wet glue. Okay, let's get started. Oh, that's what I took it from. That was from one of those sheets. it was actually one that had the tags on, and I hated cutting up the tags, but I needed this colour so that it would show up. Okay, so I'll put all that stuff aside, and I'll just move these out of the way. We'll start off with our base. I'll just get my scoreboard. Right. So this is 11.5 inches. So 11.5 by, what do I do that? 4.25. So now you can pretty much do it whatever measurements you want. That's just what I've used. So I'm going to score that at 5.25. It doesn't look right. What have I done? That is definitely not right. 11.5. That should be right. 5.25. Sorry, that wasn't right. That I said 5.25. That should have been 5.75. And that will be okay because we can put the base on there, and that'll strengthen that. So that's what you need. Okay, so I'll put those measurements on my blog, and then you will have another piece to go on top that needs to be exactly the same in half. So you've got 5.75 by 5.75. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spot. By 4.25. Okay, and that's going to go exactly on the top. Okay, so you can use your scoreboard. Otherwise, what you do is you just, as you can see on here, you just fold that piece in, and that's going to be your ledge to put this other piece on. Alright, so that's the bit that I had with the that I scored in the right spot. So I'm going to make that the base because I want that to have the strength. And that, where are we? Just make sure I do the right side. I think that's the bit that needs the base on it. So this is the one I'm going to do. Just going to fold that down in half like that, and then that comes down onto here. Okay, I better move that scoreboard out of the way because I've finished with that. You just make sure that you get that exactly in half so that it does what it's meant to do. Okay, I've got a bone folder here somewhere. I don't know where I've put it. Okay, that's all right. I'll use my hands on that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, that's where I did that accidental fold. So this is going to go on the base. It's just, I've done that just a fraction too long. So I'll just trim that because I don't want that going across that fold there. So this is the Couture Creations mini guillotine. So I've just taken a fraction off that. Push that aside and we'll put that on there. So I'll just glue that down so we know that's our base. Just get my glue out. Trouble with these papers is they're so beautiful on both sides, you just don't want to always use the other side, but we have to. Okay, so I'll put that on there, and I've just left a little bit of that pattern there. I didn't want to overwhelm it because this is going to go there to hold that in place, so I didn't want anything too much there. This is the same paper I took it from, and you can see if I'd have put all of that, that would have really just sort of overwhelmed this part, and I didn't want to waste that, so I just used that little bit there, which is much better. Okay, so this needs to go like that on there. Okay, so we just, actually we might do the other piece first before I put that on. So this is what I'm using. Get that bit of rubbish out of the way. Alright, this piece is going on there. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down. That's about the centre there. Okay, now I wanted to make this just a bit more, give it a bit more depth. So what I've done here, I've cut out, this one has come from the ephemera. That's this one I showed you before. So that's one of the poinsettias there. I then cut out another one, but I took just the centerpiece. And then I cut the one from here, which is slightly smaller. So I'm going to layer those on there. So the first one I'm just going to glue. So just put, you can see I've just made the leaves going down, and I've pushed in the center just to give it a bit more depth. And I'm going to try and get some of that showing from underneath. That's a bit, that just moves around a bit for a minute. Okay, so the next one I'm going to put on with a bit of this tape. This is from Couture Creations, and this is my favourite tape because it's really sticky, really sticky. So I'm just going to cut a piece off there, put that on the back, and I'm not sure what I did with my pokey tool, sorry. Try and find that, I don't know where I've put it. Okay, this is my Couture Creations craft knife. I'll use that just because I have short nails and I can't get the edges up. So I'll just do that. And then that goes on there, and I'm going to try and do the same. I'm going to try and move that around a bit. So that, oops, I'll push that aside. Okay. See how we're getting a bit of depth there? Not sure if I want to put the, no, I don't think I'm going to put any depth on that last one. I think that one I just did is going to be enough. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on there and just try and give this one a bit of depth there. Alright, so I'll just put that aside. Craft knife. Okay, next I'm going to put on the piece on earth. I'm going to put that on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some little dots of glue around. So I'm not going to put too much because I don't want it squirting out everywhere. A little bit of paper gone in there. I'll just get rid of that if I can. That's got it, because I don't want that on the card. As you can see, I'm not putting a huge amount of glue on, just enough to stick it down, and I always make sure all these points are done so that they'll stick down and we haven't got bits sticking up. So put that down. I'll grab one of my tweezers, I think might make that a little bit easier. Just be careful not to put it where the glue is. I think that's about centre. I don't like moving this around too much because I don't want the glue to show. Okay, that's that part. So that's that done. So now that is going on there. like that. And when that's glued down, that's going to be, when I put it on properly, it's going to be even with that. It's just because it's not glued down, you can't see it. You'll see in a minute when I finish gluing this bit down. And you can use wet glue, you can use tape, just use whatever works for you. I prefer wet glue, but I do use tape in some places. Now see what I've done, I've put too much glue on there. Now just make sure, this is why I like the tacky glue, because I like to be able to have that little bit of give to move it. So I'm just going to get that. Now just remember that won't be stuck at the top because you're only doing that the bottom half, and that's going to go like that. Not sure if you can see all of that. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, so it's going to go like that. So now I'm going to put this one on here. Now you can put it as far back as you want. It's got a bit of paper coming off the edge there. Okay. Now what I do suggest you do is that you use some foam tape, because you need that to lift so that it's going to grab it. If you put it flat, you'll see it'll just slide across. So I like to just put a bit of foam tape. I'll just move that out of the way for a minute. And I like the foam tape to go across a fair way. So I'll put that on there. Let's give it a bit of height. And we'll just see whether that's enough or not. I see it is enough, but I think I'm going to do another level of that just to bring it up a bit more, just to make it a bit more, bit thicker. It really does depend on how deep you like it to be. I'm just a bit more pedantic. Oh, that's the end of that one. I've got another roll here somewhere. Here's another one. Just bear with me a second. I thought I had enough to do this, but I haven't. Right, this is another Couture Creations one. I'm not sure why it hasn't got the red anymore, because it's the same as what I normally use. Why it hasn't got the red tape on top. Because it's the same code and everything. So just do that. So that just gives it that double depth, and you'll see what I mean. Get them out of the way. So now you've got quite a bit of depth, and there's no way that that's going to flip over that. Okay, so I'll get that off. It's a bit easier to get that tape off too. Okay, so we'll put that on there. Now I don't want it right down here to cover all that pretty paper up, so I'm going to put it, I think that's alright, because that still holds it up. That looks to be about the centre. Once it's down, it's down. It's very strong tape. Okay, and that's it. That's our card made. And you can see at the back, I don't know what I've done with my bone folder, because I'd like to give that a really good strong fold there, because it'll stand up better. I had it here. It's hiding under all my junk. Okay, so you can see, I'll try and show you at the back. So that's how it is at the back. So it's just very simple to do. It's just a matter of folding this piece down and then putting your other piece on top, and that's it. I hope that's helped and made it easier for you, because a lot of people think easel cards are really, really hard to make, but they're not. If you wanted to tiz this up a little bit more, you could just put a bit of glue in there and maybe some gold or silver glitter, or you could put some, if you've got any little oops, I've got some of these little sparkly sequins. Anything you wanted you could put in there. I might do that. I might just put a drop of glue and just put a little bit of that on there, or you could get some glitter glue and do around the edges like I did on the flip album. But that's it. I mean, that's beautiful as it is. Very easy to do. Okay, that's it from me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.